In the Imperial Capital, Ye Xuan steps into a world ruled by status, schemes, and hidden power. One insult at a noble banquet turns the entire hall against him, but the arrival of Lanxiu reveals a truth no one expected. As Kangmu Academy opens its gates, Ye Xuan faces a trial meant to crush the unworthy. But when the 9 Palaces formation awakens, the discarded swordsman may reveal something far beyond ordinary genius. Now let us follow the next developments in The First Sword God, Episode 7. Ye Xuan's words plunged the hall into dead silence. No one had expected him to insult Mo Suiqing in public. She was the dream woman of countless men in the Imperial Capital. The young lady of the Mo families. And the woman every noble son in the room wanted to please. Yet Ye Xuan had torn away that polished mask in front of everyone. Bang. Mo Suiqing's palm struck the table. The table beneath her shattered into splinters. In the next instant she appeared before Ye Xuan, her eyes fixed on him, a cold smile curving across her lips. "Say that again," she said softly, "if you dare." Ye Xuan stepped closer until he could feel her breath. He did not avoid her gaze. "A woman like you relies on a little beauty, and thinks no one in the world is worth looking at. You enjoy playing with men, watching them do foolish things for a single word or smile from you. Does that make you happy?" His voice turned colder. "Forgive me for speaking plainly, but even if a woman like you stripped naked and lay in front of me, I still would not touch you." The smile at the corner of Mo Suiqing's mouth froze, then it turned icy. Everyone knew at once that she was truly angry. Mo Suiqing raised her palm. A violent stream of Kai burst outward like a whirlwind, Imperial Kai realm. The force instantly ground the nearby tables into powder. This was clearly no ordinary martial technique, but Ye Xuan did not retreat. He clenched his fist and met it head-on, boom. His punch tore through the stream of Kai. The shockwave swept across the hall, forcing both of them several steps back. Mo Suiqing stared at him coldly. "So you do have some ability," she reached out again. But before she could attack, Han Xianmeng stepped in front of her. Suiqing, Han Xianmeng whispered, "For my sake, let this matter go." "Let it go?" Mo Suiqing laughed coldly. "He humiliated me in front of everyone, and you want me to let it go?" Han Xianmeng grabbed her arm. "Listen to me this once." Mo Suiqing frowned. "Xianmeng, who exactly is he? Why are you so wary of him?" Han Xianmeng was about to answer when the first prince, Jiang Niansheng, arrived with Lu Xiaoran. The moment Lu Xiaoran saw the scene, his heart sank. Jiang Niansheng walked over with a smile. "What has made Miss Mo so angry?" Mo Suiqing's cold gaze fell on Ye Xuan. "Jiang Niansheng, this man was invited by you, was he not?" The first prince looked at Ye Xuan and nodded slightly. "Is there some misunderstanding, Miss Mo?" "Misunderstanding?" Mo Suiqing sat down, the corner of her mouth rising in mockery. "He insulted me before everyone and you call it a misunderstanding, or is he your friend?" "Friend." Lu Xiaoran's expression changed. He understood very clearly that the first prince's answer would decide whether he still had any chance to win Ye Xuan over. A voice suddenly rang out from the crowd. "How could His Highness be friends with someone like him? This man speaks wildly and publicly slanders Miss Mo. He should be killed as a warning, that is right. A crude lowborn like him has no right to sit with us. Your Highness, throw him out. Do not let him dirty Miss Mo's eyes." Voices rose one after another. After a brief silence, Jiang Niansheng shook his head. "I do not know this person, nor did I invite him." Lu Xiaoran sighed inwardly. He had already guessed the outcome, but hearing it still disappointed him. With Ye Xuan offending so many people, and the Mo family standing behind Mo Suiqing, the first prince would never stand on Ye Xuan's side. Ye Xuan's face did not change. He only held Ye Lion's hand a little tighter. Someone sneered, so he sneaked in. No wonder he was eating like a starving ghost. "What are the servants doing, letting someone like this mix among us?" Lu Xiaoran suddenly stood. He cupped his fists to the crowd. "I am Lu Xiaoran, City Lord of Tianqian City. I brought this young friend here. If his presence has ruined everyone's mood, then I apologize on his behalf." Then he turned to Ye Xuan with a bitter smile. "I truly did not expect things to become like this. Young friend Ye Xuan, I am sorry." Ye Xuan shook his head. This has nothing to do with you, Lu Xiaoran nodded. When he turned around, he saw Jiang Niansheng staring at him. Old Lu, the first prince said slowly, do you know what you are doing? Lu Xiaoran smiled faintly. I have disturbed your highness. Then he looked at Ye Xuan, young friend, let us go. His choice was clear, he chose Ye Xuan. Everyone in the hall looked at him in disbelief, especially Jiang Niansheng. The first prince had not expected Lu Xiaoran to openly stand with Ye Xuan in front of so many people. At the same time, he became secretly alarmed. What kind of identity did this boy have? Ye Xuan nodded and led Ye Lion after Lu Xiaoran. But Mo Suiqing's cold voice rang out behind them. What, you think you can leave? Lu Xiaoran hesitated for a moment, then walked to Mo Suiqing. Miss Mo, perhaps what happened earlier was only a misunderstanding. Please give this old man some face and let it pass. Mo Suiqing replied coldly, fine. As long as he kneels and apologizes to me. Lu Xiaoran's brows furrowed. Han Xiangmeng stepped forward and bowed to Ye Xuan. Young Master Yi, although this matter was not caused by me directly, it started because of me. I apologize, Xiangmeng, Mo Suiqing shouted angrily. Whose side are you on? Han Xiangmeng looked at her. Suiqing, if you still consider me your friend, let this matter end here. Mo Suiqing's expression turned ugly. How can it end here? A new voice suddenly came from the stairway. A young man walked up and entered everyone's sight. He looked 18 or 19 with a strong frame, short hair and fierce features. Shang Kai, someone cried out. That is the genius of the Shang family. I heard he has already been specially admitted into Kangmu Academy, special admission. Most people had to pass the Academy's examination before entering Kangmu Academy. But a few were accepted directly because they possessed some unique advantage. There were only 5 such people this year. Shang Kai was one of them. Everyone in the Imperial Capital also knew that he had been pursuing Mo Suiqing. Shang Kai stood in front of Mo Suiqing and glanced coldly at Ye Xuan. Suiqing, let me wash away this humiliation for you. Mo Suiqing frowned. Shang Kai, this has nothing to do with you. If he insults you, Shang Kai said firmly, then he insults me. He turned to Ye Xuan, his voice turning vicious. Trash like you dare slander Suiqing. Today I will grind your bones into ash. The moment he finished speaking, he lunged at Ye Xuan like a tiger pouncing on prey. Before he even arrived, his momentum had already crashed forward. Ye Xuan clenched his right fist. That momentum vanished instantly. The next moment, his fist and Shang Kai's fist struck each other's chests at the same time. Bang, bang. Ye Xuan was forced back a short distance. Shang Kai, however, was driven back more than 10 zhang before slamming into a wall. The result stunned everyone. Shock appeared in Jiang Niansheng's narrowing eyes. Mo Suiqing's brows also tightened. Everyone knew what made Shang Kai special. His body was extremely powerful. Among those in the same realm, very few dared compete with him in physical strength. Yet he had fallen into disadvantage. Shang Kai stared at Ye Xuan. How is this possible? Ye Xuan's face was calm. In terms of physical strength, he had never feared anyone. Now that he had cultivated the hidden golden body realm, he did not even fear close combat against demon beasts, let alone people. I do not believe it, Shang Kai roared and charged again. This time Ye Xuan moved first. In a flash he appeared before Shang Kai, their fists collided, boom, crack. A crisp sound rang out as the bones in Shang Kai's right hand shattered. His body flew backward like a falling star, smashed into the wall and collapsed. He struggled once, then stopped moving. Ye Xuan swept a cold glance across the hall, took Ye Lion's hand and said, let us go. Wait. Jiang Niansheng's voice suddenly sounded. He walked to Ye Xuan and smiled. Brother Yi, I have already heard what happened. You did insult Miss Mo. Please apologize to her, His Highness is righteous. Several people immediately bowed. Please uphold justice, Your Highness. This man relied on brute strength to bully others and humiliated Miss Mo. His crime cannot be forgiven. Please order his arrest. Jiang Niansheng cupped his fists to the crowd. Rest assured, everyone, justice is here. I will not close my eyes to it. I will certainly return fairness to Miss Mo. Then he looked at Ye Xuan. Brother Yi, if you refuse to apologize, I am afraid you will not be leaving Immortal Guest Tower. Ye Xuan smiled faintly. Your Highness is quite skilled at winning hearts. One move, two gains. Jiang Niansheng replied indifferently, kneel, apologize, and show us your sincerity. As his words fell, armed guards appeared from all sides, each carrying a long spear. Every one of them was an elite, kneel and apologize. The corner of Ye Xuan's mouth lifted. He turned to Lu Zioran and Han Xiangmeng. Senior Lu, Miss Han, please watch my sister for a moment. He asked Han Xiangmeng as well, because one more layer of protection meant Elian would be safer. Lu Zioran hesitated, then nodded. Han Xiangmeng only sighed softly. Ye Xuan turned back to Jiang Niansheng and the guards. The first prince's eyes narrowed. You forced your way into Immortal Guest Tower, publicly insulted Miss Mo, and injured another guest. Your crime cannot be forgiven, kill him as a warning. The guards rushed toward Ye Xuan. But at that moment, soft footsteps came from the staircase. In the next instant, everyone froze. A woman in snow-white robes stood there like a goddess descending from the ninth heaven, and Lanxiu. The moment she appeared, the guards dropped to one knee. Everyone else bent deeply and spoke in unison. Greetings, National Scholar N. Even Jiang Niansheng hurriedly saluted. Mo Suiqing, her face pale, also stood and bowed. Mo Suiqing of the Mo family greets National Scholar N, and Lanxiu nodded lightly. Before everyone's eyes, she walked to Ye Xuan and studied him for a moment. Surprise flashed across her face, battle. A faint smile appeared on her lips. It has not been long since we last met, yet you have already reached this level. You truly surprise me, Brother Yi. May we speak elsewhere, Brother Yi? Those two words left the entire hall stunned. How many people in the Imperial Capital were qualified to be called brother by Lanxiu? There might be some, but they were extremely rare. For someone of Lanxiu's status to willingly treat another person as an equal, could that person possibly be ordinary? Everyone looked at Ye Xuan again. This time their eyes were filled with curiosity. Even Mo Suiqing was shocked. She knew a little about Lanxiu. In the entire Imperial Capital, the number of people Lanxiu truly valued could probably be counted on one hand. What ability did this young man possess? Jiang Niansheng's expression became extremely ugly. At this moment, he knew he might have made the wrong bet. Ye Xuan stood before Lanxiu and smiled softly, of course. But before he could leave, a young man suddenly stepped forward and bowed deeply to Lanxiu. National Scholar, and this man insulted Miss Mo and openly attacked others here. He deserves severe punishment. Please judge fairly, and Lanxiu looked at him. Who are you? The young man's heart leapt with joy. He quickly cupped his fists. I am Lai Fang of the Lai family. Greetings, National Scholar N, and Lanxiu looked at Ye Xuan. Ye Xuan said nothing. Ye Lion became anxious and quickly spoke. Sister N, they were the ones bullying people. She quickly explained what had happened. After listening, Lanxiu turned to Mo Suiqing. Mo Suiqing's expression changed. The Mo family was powerful. But the person before her was someone even forces like Kangmu Academy and Drunken Immortal Tower did not dare offend casually. Lanxiu said calmly, Miss Mo, the Mo family is a great clan and you represent its younger generation. Your words and actions represent the Mo family as well. In the future, it would be best not to do such childish things. What do you think? Mo Suiqing's face turned ugly. She did not answer. Lanxiu looked directly at her. You do not answer because you feel wronged and unconvinced. As soon as she spoke, a powerful intent spread from her body. In an instant, Mo Suiqing seemed to be pressed down by a mountain. Her body sank and her legs bent little by little. Everyone's expression changed, and Lanxiu was angry. This time, no one dared speak for Mo Suiqing. Under everyone's gaze, Mo Suiqing finally knelt. Her fists were clenched, and her face twisted with humiliation. She was also a favored daughter of heaven. When had she ever suffered such treatment? At that moment, an old man suddenly appeared at her side and bowed deeply to Lanxiu. National Scholar, and our young lady is still immature and has offended you. Please show mercy on account of our old family head. We are deeply grateful. And Lanxiu withdrew her intent. Mo Suiqing immediately collapsed to the ground. And Lanxiu glanced at her and said softly, "Go back and tell the Mo family head that Brother Ye is my friend. If the Mo family is dissatisfied with what I have done today, they may come to me. But if I learn that the Mo family seeks revenge against Brother Ye and his sister because of this grudge, I and Lanxiu will personally visit the Mo family and demand justice for them." The old man quickly nodded, then left with Mo Suiqing. And Lanxiu turned to the first prince. Jiang Niansheng's face changed. And Lanxiu said softly, "Your Highness should know that it is not easy for Jiang Kingdom to produce talent. Today, for personal gain, you suppressed a talent of our nation. Such behavior is shallow and foolish." Jiang Niansheng's expression was ugly, but he did not dare respond. The woman before him was someone even his father had to treat politely. Others might not know what Lanxiu meant to Jiang Kingdom, but as a member of the royal family, he understood better than anyone. It could be said that the royal family and countless noble clans of Jiang Kingdom would rather sacrifice him than offend Lanxiu. Because at present, only Lanxiu could suppress the monstrous geniuses of the surrounding nations. Because of her, those nations feared Jiang Kingdom and did not dare invade recklessly. And Lanxiu slowly closed her eyes. "Resign from hosting the new students. For 5 years, you are not to hold this position again." Jiang Niansheng bowed deeply, then turned and left. Before he departed, he glanced once at Ye Xuan, and Lanxiu looked at Ye Xuan. "Brother Ye, please." Ye Xuan held Ye Lion's hand. "May I bring my sister?" And Lanxiu smiled. "Of course." Just like that, and Lanxiu left with Ye Xuan and Ye Lion under everyone's gaze. Inside the hall, no one spoke for a long time. Night had fallen. The three walked side by side through a quiet street, and Lanxiu spoke softly. "I did not expect that after our parting, Brother Ye would gain sword heart clarity and even comprehend battle intent. You can already be considered a true martial Dao Grandmaster." Ye Xuan's voice was heavy. "Why can you see through everything about me?" He had already asked this question back in King City, and Lanxiu smiled. "My eyes are somewhat special. They can see the essence of things." Since she did not say more, Ye Xuan did not ask further. And Lanxiu stopped and stood across from him. The person who attacked the black-armored cavalry of Tang Kingdom, and then dared stand alone against thousands of them at Two Realm City, was you, was it not? Ye Xuan was surprised. How did you know?" And Lanxiu smiled. "The 9th princess is a close friend of mine. She told me what happened that day. A young man in green accompanied by a younger sister. I was certain it was you." Beside Ye Xuan, Ye Lion smiled sweetly and hugged his arm, and Lanxiu continued walking. "Brother Ye, people in the Imperial Capital have complicated hearts. Everyone looks only at profits. How many truly care about the nation? In that hall today, if any of them had faced what happened in Two Realm City, I fear none would have stepped forward as you did." Ye Xuan said softly, "Miss N cares greatly about Jiang Kingdom, does she not?" And Lanxiu smiled. "Only when there is a country can there be a home. Only when there is a home can there be people. What I care about is not the Jiang royal family but this country. Do you understand?" Ye Xuan nodded. "I understand." In this, he and Lanxiu thought the same way. Ye Xuan was selfish. But if the country was in danger, he would still stand up. Like in Lanxiu, he did not serve the Jiang royal family. What he cared about was Jiang Kingdom itself. And Lanxiu walked ahead slowly, while Ye Xuan and his sister followed. Under the moonlight, dressed in white, and Lanxiu truly looked like a goddess from heaven descended into the mortal world. A very beautiful woman. Then she said, "Brother Ye, the hearts of people in the Imperial Capital are difficult to read. You are a sword cultivator, and your temperament is rather direct. You should still be careful in everything here." Ye Xuan glanced at her. "Thank you." After a brief silence, he added, "May we fight?" Fight. That was what he wanted most right now. The shadow in the world prison tower was no longer his opponent. Now he felt somewhat uncertain about his true strength. Hearing him, and Lanxiu turned and smiled. That smile seemed to steal the color from heaven and earth. Even Ye Xuan was dazed for a moment, but he quickly recovered. Ye Lion softly said, "Sister, you are so beautiful." And Lanxiu gently rubbed Ye Lion's head. A beautiful face is only an outer shell. A person's true strength and beauty are both in the heart. Then she looked at Ye Xuan and smiled. After you reach the Imperial Kai realm, let us fight again. What do you think, Imperial Kai realm? Ye Xuan thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, and Lanxiu stopped walking. Ye Xuan, we part here. Ye Xuan cupped his fists. Miss Anne, until we meet again. He then took Ye Lion and turned to leave. Ye Lion waved cheerfully at Lanxiu. It was clear she liked her very much. And Lanxiu watched the siblings disappear at the end of the street before withdrawing her gaze and continuing forward. At some point, an old man appeared beside her. The old man said in a heavy voice, "Young miss, the closer you get to him, the more trouble he may face." And Lanxiu said softly, "Old Ling, go tell them. Anyone who dares cause trouble for those two siblings because of me will not be spared." Old Ling smiled bitterly. "Young miss, would it not be better if you simply did not get close to him?" And Lanxiu asked quietly, "Do you think he is unworthy of being my friend?" Old Ling shook his head. This person comprehended battle intent at such a young age and has sword heart clarity. His talent and fortune are rare indeed. If you are only ordinary friends, he barely has the qualification, but if, he fell silent. Because he realized his young miss treated that boy somewhat differently. This was not a good thing, and Lanxiu smiled. "Old Ling, you are afraid I might like him, are you not?" Old Ling smiled helplessly. His young miss was far too direct. Could she not be a little more subtle? And Lanxiu looked toward the road where the siblings had vanished. When I first met him in King City, his affection for his sister made me appreciate him. After what happened in Two Realms City, what I felt toward him was no longer only appreciation. She withdrew her gaze and smiled softly. A good man should be like that. Old Ling's face sank immediately. And Lanxiu had already gone ahead. Old Ling stood there and sighed. "Boy, you had better not have any improper thoughts. Otherwise, your life will be very hard, perhaps even miserable." No one understood his young Miss's terrifying nature better than he did. To stand beside her, one needed status, strength, talent, and background. Not one could be missing. And he had already investigated Ye Xuan. In truth, Ye Xuan was only someone abandoned by a tiny corner of the world. In terms of identity alone, the distance between them was more than 100,000 li. After a while, Old Ling sighed again and followed her. At the end of the road, Ye Xuan slowly walked forward with Ye Lion on his back. "Brother, sister Anne is really beautiful, Brother, do you like sister Anne? Brother, why don't you marry sister Anne as your wife? I think she matches you very well, your brother has nothing. Should I make her drink the northwest wind with me, so do you like her? I only want you to be safe forever, brother. I want to stay with you for my whole life, silly girl. You still have to marry one day. I want to marry, why? Because I will never meet anyone who treats me better than you." Ye Xuan carried Ye Lion back to Lu Xiaoran's residence. By the time they arrived, Ye Lion had already fallen asleep. After placing her on the bed, Ye Lion suddenly curled up and began trembling. Ye Xuan was frightened. He quickly covered her with more blankets, but she remained cold. Seeing this, he panicked. Then, as if remembering something, he quickly took out the heavenly fire-warm jade hanging around Ye Lion's neck. When he saw it, he froze. A thin layer of frost had formed across the jade. "Senior." Ye Xuan called out urgently in his heart, "Senior, what is happening? Bring that jade in here." The mysterious woman's voice suddenly sounded. Ye Xuan hurriedly sent the heavenly fire-warm jade into the world prison tower. A moment later, it reappeared in his hand. This time, it had returned to normal. Ye Xuan immediately hung it back around Ye Lion's neck. Gradually, her complexion improved. Only then did Ye Xuan finally breathe a little easier. But the mysterious woman said, "The spiritual power within this jade has already lost 99% of what it originally had. At most, it can last one more day. After that, it will become an ordinary useless stone. Think of a solution quickly, a useless stone." Ye Xuan's expression grew heavy. If the heavenly fire-warm jade lost its effect, how would his sister endure the cold Kai in her body? After a while, Ye Xuan left the room. He stood outside the door and looked up at the bright moon in the night sky, his hands slowly tightening into fists. Tomorrow was the day of Kangmu Academy's recruitment, Kangmu Academy. Once he entered the greatest academy in Jiang Kingdom, he would be able to ask someone to treat his sister. Then she would no longer have to suffer from this illness. At that moment, Lu Xiaoran entered the courtyard. He smiled bitterly. "Young friend Yi, I apologize for what happened tonight." Ye Xuan shook his head. "It has nothing to do with you, Senior Lu." Lu Xiaoran said softly, "I originally had a rather good opinion of the first prince. But tonight made me realize he is not what I imagined." Sigh. "These royal descendants truly know how to pretend." Ye Xuan hesitated, then said, "Senior Lu, forgive my bluntness, but choosing a side now is too early. Moreover, I fear the person above may not wish to see it." Lu Xiaoran smiled bitterly. "Of course I understand that. But if I do not choose now, I fear it may be too late later." Ye Xuan shook his head. "In my opinion, Senior Lu only needs to serve the current sovereign. As long as His Majesty has not died, you and the Lu family will not fall into real danger." Lu Xiaoran nodded, "I think so too. My Lu family will no longer involve itself in the struggle for the crown prince position." Ye Xuan nodded and said nothing more. Lu Xiaoran smiled. "Young friend, tomorrow is Kangmu Academy's recruitment day. When that troublesome son of mine enters the academy, I hope you will look after him a little." Ye Xuan smiled. "Senior Lu, I am still not certain I can enter Kangmu Academy myself." Lu Xiaoran shook his head. "If Kangmu Academy does not accept you, that will be their greatest loss." Ye Xuan smiled and said nothing. After Lu Xiaoran left, Ye Xuan returned to the World Prison Tower. The moment he entered, he heard faint movement from the floor above. It was very light, but he truly heard it. His voice became heavy. "Senior, that was." The mysterious woman asked, "What do you think it was?" Ye Xuan smiled bitterly. "Senior, what exactly is on the second floor?" After a moment of silence, the mysterious woman replied, "Not a benevolent thing. In short, after you enter the academy, you must find spirit swords to raise your realm. Everything must be sped up." Ye Xuan nodded. The World Prison Tower was making him uneasy. More accurately, it kept him constantly anxious. He also felt that whatever existed on the second floor was not something kind. There was no evidence, only a feeling. And that feeling came from the World Prison Tower itself, as if the tower were warning him. As the mysterious woman had said, he had to speed up. But his most urgent task right now was still entering Kangmu Academy. One day passed. Early the next morning, the red sun slowly rose from the horizon. Ye Xuan led Ye Lion out of the mansion gate. Lu Xiaoran and the little fatty Lu Ming were already waiting outside. Lu Xiaoran looked Ye Xuan over. Today, Ye Xuan wore a cloud-white robe. He had always been handsome, and now that he had dressed properly, he looked exceptionally elegant. If he wore a sword at his waist and revealed his identity as a sword cultivator, he would likely make no small number of young women in the Imperial Capital lose their senses. Ye Lion had also changed into a dark green dress. A long braid hung behind her head. Although she was still young, anyone could see she would become a beauty capable of toppling cities in a few years. Seeing the siblings' appearance, Lu Xiaoran became even more certain that their origins were not simple. He withdrew his thoughts and smiled. "Young friend Yi, let us go." Ye Xuan nodded and led Ye Lion after Lu Xiaoran and his son. Their residence was not far from Kangmu Academy, so they chose to walk. The Imperial Capital was especially lively today. Kangmu Academy's recruitment was the greatest event in the city. In all of Jiang Kingdom, the fastest way to rise above others was to enter Kangmu Academy. Entering Kangmu Academy could be described as a carp leaping through the dragon gate. Therefore, every time the academy recruited students, geniuses and monstrous talents from all over Jiang Kingdom would come. And since these geniuses came, their families naturally followed. The Imperial Capital was packed with people. Ye Xuan did not know that without Lu Xiaoran, he and his sister might not even have found a place to stay in the Imperial Capital. The inns had been nearly fully booked a month in advance. Today, Ye Lion seemed unusually happy. Because today, Ye Xuan would join Kangmu Academy. Once he entered, he would no longer be alone, he would have support. He would have a bright future. When that happened, even if her illness could not be cured, she could feel at ease. Thinking this, Ye Xuan turned her head and looked at Ye Xuan. She held his hand tightly. If she could, she also wanted to live. Since their mother had left, her brother had lived too bitterly. She was not afraid of dying. She was afraid that after she died, her brother would be left alone and lonely. On the streets, more and more people gathered, and all of them were heading in the same direction, Kangmu Academy. North of the Imperial Capital stood a great mountain named Mount Kang. It rose nearly 1,000 zhang high. From its slopes, one could overlook the entire Imperial Capital. Kangmu Academy was located on Mount Kang. As they walked, Lu Xiaoran smiled and said, Kangmu Academy has a very long history. Countless dynasties have changed on this land, but Kangmu Academy has always existed, just like Drunken Immortal Tower. They are both enormous forces. Ye Xuan asked in a low voice, are there Kangmu Academies in other countries as well? Lu Xiaoran nodded, of course. I heard the headquarters of Kangmu Academy is in the central Divine Continent, a very distant place. He shook his head with a smile, then looked at Ye Xuan. Young friend Yi, if you have the chance in the future, you must leave Jiang Kingdom and even Qingzhou. Go see the wider world outside. Only then will your life not be wasted. Ye Xuan smiled, that is still too far away. What matters most is walking the path before me, Lu Xiaoran laughed, naturally. Before long, the group arrived at the foot of Mount Kang. Looking up from below, one could not help feeling small. At this moment, the foot of Mount Kang was already packed with people. Clearly, they had all come to participate in Kangmu Academy's recruitment. Ye Xuan was slightly alarmed. Because almost everyone before him was at least in the Imperial Kai realm, and they were all very young. As if sensing what he was thinking, Lu Xiaoran smiled. No need to be too shocked. The geniuses of all Jiang Kingdom are gathered here, think about it. Among tens of millions of people, how many geniuses are there? Is this number truly large? Ye Xuan nodded. In King City, an 18-year-old Imperial Kai realm cultivator would absolutely be considered a super genius. But King City was only a small city. In larger cities, such a person might only be an ordinary genius. Across all of Jiang Kingdom, they might even be considered normal. At that moment, an immortal crane descended from Mount Kang. An old man sat cross-legged on its back. Before long, the crane hovered above the crowd. The old man looked down. I am Kang Lai, Outer Court Elder of Kangmu Academy, and I will oversee today's recruitment. Today, we will accept 20 students. There will be 3 trials. If more than 20 pass all 3 trials, then those who pass must fight one another. The winners remain 20. The moment he said this, the crowd erupted. There were at least over 1,000 people here, yet the academy would accept only 20. That meant 99% of them would be eliminated. Ye Xuan's expression also became serious, only 20. The competition would be brutal. In the sky, the old man's voice sounded again. The first trial is to climb the mountain. Anyone who cannot reach the halfway point on foot will be eliminated immediately. Climb the mountain. Ye Xuan was stunned and looked at Lu Xiaoran. That simple? Lu Xiaoran shook his head, not simple at all. There is a suppression formation on this mountain. The purpose of this trial is to eliminate those whose realms are unstable. Although most people here have reached the Imperial Kai realm, many of them relied on outside help to do it. Ye Xuan nodded, then he looked at Lu Ming. Senior, Little Ming does not seem to have reached the Imperial Kai realm. Lu Xiaoran smiled bitterly. Of course he has not. This time he is entering Kangmu Academy as a special student. A special student? Ye Xuan was puzzled. What does that mean? Lu Xiaoran looked somewhat embarrassed. In truth, it means buying a place with money. But he will not be an official student. He will enter a lower class group. There will still be teachers there, but the treatment is far inferior to official students, and he will not have official student status. Lu Ming complained from the side, Big brother, father, at least leave me a little dignity. Lu Xiaoran immediately became annoyed. What dignity do you still need? If you had worked a little harder, would your father have needed to beg others for a place? Lu Ming pouted but did not dare argue. Ye Xuan and Ye Lion looked at each other and smiled. Lu Xiaoran said, young friend Yi, let us go to the starting point. Ye Xuan nodded. The group walked to a small path at the foot of Mount Kang. Beside the path stood a wooden stake. A man who had been dead for some time was pinned to it. People nearby pointed at the corpse and whispered. Ye Xuan glanced at the man, then turned to Lu Xiaoran. "Senior, what is this?" Lu Xiaoran said heavily, "A student of Kanglin Academy." Kanglin Academy, Ye Xuan was stunned. "Is that also in our Imperial Capital?" Lu Xiaoran nodded. "It is normal that you have never heard of it. These days, everyone in Jiang Kingdom knows only Kangmu Academy. Very few remember Kanglin Academy. In the previous dynasty, Kanglin Academy and Kangmu Academy were both famous. For some unknown reason, the two academies became mortal enemies. Every 3 years they hold a life and death martial contest. Only death ends it. Afterward, Kanglin Academy gradually weakened, while Kangmu Academy grew stronger and stronger. For the past 50 years, every time Kanglin Academy fought Kangmu Academy, it suffered complete defeat. The students who represented Kanglin Academy were all pinned along this path. As you climb, you will see many more corpses. He sighed and shook his head. According to the agreement between both sides, if Kanglin Academy can win even once, they may take the bodies of these students away. Unfortunately, up to now, none of their students have managed to defeat the students of Kangmu Academy, Kanglin Academy. Ye Xuan looked at the corpse before him and sighed inwardly. In King City, noble families fought ruthlessly for profit. But he had not expected the struggles between great forces in the Imperial Capital to be even more vicious, without the slightest mercy. At that moment, Lu Xiaoran pointed to a round platform beside the path not far away. "Young friend, do you know what that is?" Ye Xuan turned. Not far away was a circular platform about 40 zhang wide. On it stood 9 wooden figures, each holding a wooden sword. They stood in a neat row. "What is that?" Ye Xuan asked. Lu Xiaoran said softly, "That is Kangmu Academy's famous 9 Palaces formation. It is said this formation was created by the founding ancestor of the academy. In the 100 countries of Qingzhou, wherever there is a Kangmu Academy, there is a formation like this. It is said to be a special test. Anyone under 20 who can break this formation will definitely be accepted by the academy master as a personal student. In other words, that person becomes the academy master's direct disciple." He shook his head with a smile. "Unfortunately, no one has broken it in nearly 50 years. 9 Palaces formation." Ye Xuan studied the 9 wooden figures. "Is it that powerful?" Lu Xiaoran smiled bitterly. "More than powerful. In the past, a Skysore realm expert tried it. Unfortunately, he did not last more than 10 seconds before being killed. And people who can reach the Skysore realm before 20 are already extremely rare." After a slight pause, he continued. "Rumor says the academy once invited national scholar and to break this formation, but whether she came or not, no one knows." Ye Xuan was about to speak when an aged voice rang out from the sky. "The examination begins." With those words, the people gathered before the path immediately set off. Ye Xuan turned and gently rubbed Ye Lion's head. Then he looked at Lu Xiaoran. "Senior Lu, please look after my sister for me." Lu Xiaoran smiled, "Of course." Ye Lion softly hugged Ye Xuan. "Brother, do your best." Ye Xuan grinned, then turned and entered the crowd. Watching him disappear among the people, Ye Lion smiled softly. But soon, her body began to tremble. It was as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. Cold air spread from her body, making her seem like a block of ice. Seeing this, Lu Xiaoran was startled. "Come, we should go back first." Ye Lion shook her head. "Uncle Lu, no, I am fine." She took out the heavenly fire-warm jade. "With this, I will be fine." Lu Xiaoran wanted to say more, but Ye Lion lifted her head and looked into the distance. "Only after I see my brother enter Kangmu Academy can I feel at ease." Lu Xiaoran sighed softly. He patted Lu Ming. "Go fetch 2 more pieces of fur for Sister Lion, quickly." Lu Ming hurriedly nodded and ran off. In the distance, Ye Xuan had vanished into the crowd. Like everyone else, he felt somewhat excited. Kangmu Academy was right before him. Once he entered, there would be hope for his sister's illness. Among the crowd, Ye Xuan looked up toward the mountainside and took a deep breath. "Then I will fight for it. For my sister and also for myself." With that, he quickened his pace. At first, everyone advanced quickly. But after about 10 Lai, the speed of almost 90% of the people slowed down, and it kept getting slower. Because after walking for a while, an invisible pressure appeared on their bodies. Each step forward increased that pressure. By the time the leaders had walked about 20 Lai, some people behind them had already begun to be eliminated. But those at the front were still moving very quickly. Clearly, some people had unstable cultivation, while others were genuinely powerful. Ye Xuan walked neither fast nor slow. The invisible pressure did not affect him at all. His bones, tendons, and physical body were now so strong that even Skysoar realm experts might not surpass him. Hidden Realm. At this moment, the advantage and power of the Hidden Realm finally showed themselves. Time passed little by little. The higher they climbed, the fewer people remained. After one double hour, fewer than 100 people were still continuing. Most of them were already exhausted and struggling with every step, but some stood out. The one in the lead was a man in purple. From the beginning, he had led everyone, leaving the rest tens of Jiang behind. At first, people thought he would slow down later, but to their surprise, even now his speed remained fast. Not far behind him were a man in ornate robes, and another man with a long saber at his waist. The two were dozens of Jiang behind the purple-robed man. Both stared at him, and although their speed had slowed a little, their steps remained steady. They showed no sign of exhaustion. Behind them were fewer than 100 people, most of whom were panting and barely moving. Ye Xuan continued at the same unhurried pace. The pressure truly had no effect on him. In fact, after walking for some time, the pressure did not grow stronger. It felt as if it had disappeared. As for why he did not walk faster, he had never thought about it. He was simply walking normally, fast or slow did not matter. As long as he reached the end, that was enough. To put it simply, he was not forcing himself, he walked however he wished. Half an hour later, fewer than 40 people remained on the pass. By then, the purple-robed man had already reached the end, followed by the man in ornate robes and the saber-wearing man. As Ye Xuan neared the end, he suddenly stopped and looked at a wooden stake beside the road. A man was pinned there. He looked around 20 years old, and his condition was miserable. His hands and feet had been cut off. Even his eyes were gone, leaving only 2 dark holes. There was no need to ask. He was probably a student of Kanglan Academy. Judging by the corpse, he had not been dead for long. Ye Xuan shook his head and sighed. Kanglan Academy and Kangmu Academy must truly possess a deep and bitter hatred. He did not linger and quickly reached the end. After 4 people had arrived at the destination, an immortal crane flew above them. Kang Zhang sat on its back and looked down at the crowd. His gaze finally stopped on Ye Xuan. When he saw Ye Xuan, his eyes turned cold. Ye Xuan frowned. He had sensed hostility from the man. But what confused him was that he had no relationship with this elder. They had not even met before. Why would the man bear hostility toward him? You step out. Kang Zhang looked down at Ye Xuan from the crane, his voice cold and without emotion. Ye Xuan glanced at him, then stepped out from the group. Kang Zhang stared down at him. The lowest requirement for Kangmu Academy's recruitment is to reach the Imperial Kai realm before 18. You have not reached the Imperial Kai realm, have you? Not reached the Imperial Kai realm. Everyone around was stunned. They all looked at Ye Xuan. Everyone knew the minimum requirement for Kangmu Academy was reaching the Imperial Kai realm before 18. Since Ye Xuan had not reached it, this could be considered deception. Ye Xuan said in a low voice, Elder King, although I have not reached the Imperial Kai realm, I have passed the first trial. So what? Kang Zhang interrupted coldly. The rules of Kangmu Academy are clear. Anyone who has not reached the Imperial Kai realm before 18 is not qualified to take the examination. Even if you pass the first trial, it means nothing. Therefore, I now declare that you are not qualified for this examination. According to the rules, you will receive 100 staff strikes and be expelled from Mount Kang immediately. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 Skysoar realm experts came before Ye Xuan. Ye Xuan suddenly looked straight at Kang Zhang. Elder Kang, before today we had never met. Yet the moment you saw me, you targeted me. Did I offend you before? He was not stupid. He could naturally tell that this elder was deliberately targeting him. Kang Zhang sneered, targeting you, HMPH. If you knew this day would come, why did you act like that before? Kang Zhang, Ye Xuan narrowed his eyes. Suddenly, he thought of something. At the banquet the previous night, he had beaten someone named Xianxia. Now, when he looked carefully, he noticed that Kang Zhang had an embroidered emblem on his chest. That day, Xianxia had worn the same emblem, a clan emblem, a mark of identity. Clearly, the elder before him was Xianxia's elder. Just as Ye Xuan was about to speak, a man nearby suddenly stepped out. Ye Xuan, you truly are foolish. Ye Xuan looked at the man, he seemed familiar. After a moment, Ye Xuan remembered him. This was the man who had spoken up for Mo Suiqing at the banquet. His name was Lai Fang. Lai Fang sneered. Do you think that with national scholar and protecting you, you can look down on everyone? Today, we will let you see the strength of people like us. Then he bowed slightly to Kang Zhang in the sky. Elder Kang, this person has not reached the Imperial Kai realm, yet he still tried to take part in the examination. He clearly does not place Kangmu Academy in his eyes. For the dignity of the academy, I ask Elder Kang to punish him severely. After Lai Fang finished speaking, 7 or 8 other young men beside Ye Xuan stepped forward. They bowed deeply at the same time. We ask Elder Kang to punish this man severely. Kang Zhang sneered, indeed, I nearly forgot that matter. Men, beat this man to death as a warning. The 2 Skysoar realm experts were about to act. At that moment, Ye Xuan took out a jade pendant and looked straight at Kang Zhang. This is National Scholar and S jade pendant. She recommended me to Kangmu Academy. Hearing this, everyone around was shocked. A recommendation from National Scholar, and this was not a small matter. Even the purple-robed man who had arrived first could not help looking at Ye Xuan with curiosity. National Scholar and was the idol of all the young people of Jiang Kingdom. Kang Zhang's expression became extremely ugly. He had not expected Ye Xuan to possess an Lanxiu's jade pendant. He had to give National Scholar and face. Seeing Kang Zhang fall silent, Lai Fang panicked. Without thinking, he angrily pointed at Ye Xuan, nonsense. How could a useless little Kai transformation realm cultivator like you be recommended by National Scholar and that jade pendant must be fake. You before he could finish, Ye Xuan vanished. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Lai Fang. Before everyone's eyes, Ye Xuan slapped him across the face. That is for talking nonsense. Slap, Lai Fang was sent flying, everyone froze, a fight. Here, the people around, including Lai Fang, were dumbfounded. He never imagined Ye Xuan would dare strike someone inside Kangmu Academy, and right in front of Kang Zhang. Even Kang Zhang himself had not expected anyone to be so brazen. Lai Fang staggered to his feet and gritted his teeth. You dare act so wildly. Ye Xuan did not give him the chance to finish. He rushed forward again. Another slap fell like thunder, slap. Lai Fang was sent flying once more. Lai Fang was in the Imperial Kai realm, yet he could not withstand a single blow from Ye Xuan. Several nearby students looked at Ye Xuan with unconcealed shock. If the first slap had been a sneak attack, the second had been direct and open. Yet Lai Fang still could not respond. This was absolute suppression through strength, impudent. Kang Zhang roared from the cranes. In an instant, Ye Xuan was seized by an invisible pressure. He snapped his head up. Elder Kang, using public authority to settle private grudges is not good, is it? Kang Zhang laughed coldly. Using public authority to settle private grudges. When have I done such a thing? Kangmu Academy has made its recruitment standard very clear. Anyone who has not reached the Imperial Kai realm is not allowed to enter. You are only in the Kai transformation realm. What is wrong with this old man removing your qualification? His eyes grew colder. Not only that, but you dared openly fight inside the academy. That is no different from looking down on Kangmu Academy. National Scholar and is our honorary tutor. I believe she would never allow someone like you to enter the academy either. At that moment, Lai Fang struggled back up, his eyes bloodshot as he glared at Ye Xuan. You lowly bastard, you dare once again. Ye Xuan moved before he could finish. Lai Fang's expression changed. This time he was prepared. The moment Ye Xuan appeared, he threw a punch. Powerful Kai gathered around his fist like mist. giving it considerable force. But Ye Xuan's fist had already arrived. He met it without hesitation. Crack. Lai Fang was thrown several zhang away and crashed to the ground. Then he let out a scream that tore through the air. The bones in his entire right arm had shattered. Ye Xuan glanced at him coldly. "Say one more word and I will beat you to death." Then he looked directly at Kang Zhang without any fear. Kang Zhang's face was still icy, but killing intent now filled his eyes without concealment. "You dare injure someone before me. You do not place Kangmu Academy in your eyes at all. Even National Scholar and cannot protect you now. Men kill him on the spot." The two experts beside him prepared to obey. Ye Xuan stared at Kang Zhang. "I may not have reached the Imperial Kai realm, but my strength is not inferior to it." "Elder Kang, you saw it yourself," Kang Zhang sneered, "who cares? I only know that you have not cultivated to the Imperial Kai realm. You are not qualified to participate in Kangmu Academy's examination." He waved his hand. "Seize him, kill him on the spot." With Kang Zhang's order, the two Skysore realm experts charged at Ye Xuan without hesitation. Their power was unquestionable. Ye Xuan could feel the invisible pressure the moment they acted. His expression sank. This matter could no longer be solved gently. If that was the case, then he would meet force with force. Thinking this, a savage curve appeared at the corner of Ye Xuan's mouth. His right foot slammed down. Boom, the ground exploded. A heavy pressure burst from within him and forced the two Skysore realm experts back several steps. The people around nearly had their eyes pop out. A Kai transformation realm cultivator had forced back two Skysore realm experts. Two whole major realms above him. On the back of the crane, Kang Zhang was stunned. Ye Xuan had once defeated Xianxia, so Kang Zhang had only been somewhat surprised when Ye Xuan injured Lai Fang. But now Ye Xuan faced two Skysore realm experts. Even if they had not used their full strength, they were still not opponents someone in the Kai transformation realm should be able to withstand. Kang Zhang stared fixedly at Ye Xuan. He suddenly realized this boy was definitely not ordinary. He was a genius, a rare genius. For a brief moment, hesitation appeared in Kang Zhang's heart. No, not hesitation, fear. Driving such a genius away from Kangmu Academy could bring consequences beyond what a small elder like him could bear. But the grudge had already been formed. If he allowed Ye Xuan to enter the academy, Ye Xuan would certainly seek revenge later. And when a genius sought revenge, Kang Zhang's eyes turned cold. Genius. Kangmu Academy had never lacked geniuses. He absolutely could not leave future trouble behind. Kang Zhang clenched his right hand. A violent stream of Kai suddenly appeared around Ye Xuan. Ye Xuan's body tightened. He was shocked to discover that Kang Zhang was not a Skysore realm expert at all. He had already surpassed it. Ye Xuan could not match him head-on. He clenched his fist and punched forward. Boom. The Kai surrounding him shattered under his blow. Before Kang Zhang could act again, Ye Xuan leapt backward and rushed down the mountain. Kang Zhang's lips curled into a mocking smile. "You want to run? Ridiculous." But just as he prepared to attack again, Ye Xuan rushed onto the Nine Palaces platform. Everyone on the mountainside and below froze. Kang Zhang was no exception. What was he trying to do? The moment Ye Xuan stepped onto the platform, the Nine Palaces platform shook violently. A beam of light shot from its center straight into the clouds. Countless people inside Kangmu Academy turned toward the sky. The Nine Palaces light pillar. Heavens, who dares enter the Nine Palaces formation? Could it be National Scholar and the Nine Palaces formation? It has not activated in decades. Is it National Scholar and who is it? In an instant, figures began rushing down from the peak of the mountain. The Nine Palaces platform activating meant someone had challenged the Nine Palaces formation. Kang Zhang sat on the crane, stunned again and again. He had thought Ye Xuan was trying to escape. He had not expected the boy to rush onto the Nine Palaces platform and challenge the Nine Palaces formation. Then he laughed loudly. Ye Xuan, today this old man has finally seen what it means to seek death by one's own hand. Good. This saves me a great deal of trouble. The Nine Palaces formation was formed by 9 wooden figures. Once they attacked together, they could kill a Skysore Realm expert in an instant. Even Kang Zhang himself was not certain he could break the formation. It had been created by the founding ancestor of Kangmu Academy to ensure that true geniuses were not missed. It did not only test strength, but also foundation, temperament, talent, and actual combat ability. Before long, a sea of curious people surrounded the platform. Countless eyes focused on Ye Xuan. Voices of discussion rose everywhere. Lu Xiaoran had also brought the little fatty and Ye Lion beneath the platform. When he saw Ye Xuan standing there, his expression changed. He was challenging the 9 Palaces platform. Ye Lion stood at the side wrapped in a thick cotton coat. She did not fully understand what was happening, but she could vaguely sense that this was definitely not good. Her face was pale. She asked nervously, "Uncle Lu, my brother, will he be all right?" Lu Xiaoran sighed softly. After hesitating for a moment, he said, "Do not worry, nothing will happen." But the worry in his eyes as he looked at Ye Xuan did not fade. For decades, no one in Jiang Kingdom had conquered the 9 Palaces formation. Those who tried had basically died miserably inside it. Lu Xiaoran knew Ye Xuan was strong and mysterious, but this was still the 9 Palaces formation. The moment Ye Xuan stepped onto the platform, the 9 wooden figures not far away suddenly came alive and surrounded him from all directions. Ye Xuan's expression did not change. Killing intent filled his eyes. Even he had not expected events to develop like this. Kang Zhang was clearly targeting him. But asking him to fight Kang Zhang to the death, that was impossible. This was Kangmu Academy. Even 10,000 Ye Xuans would not be able to challenge the academy directly. Challenging the 9 Palaces formation was the worst possible option, but it was still an option. Ye Xuan pushed aside his chaotic thoughts and looked around. The 9 wooden figures held long swords. They had not moved yet, but they already gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. He did not dare underestimate them, he guarded carefully. Suddenly, the wooden figure in front of him drew its sword and thrust straight toward the space between Ye Xuan's brows. The crowd gasped. "How can this be?" Someone shouted. "The wooden figure's sword is that fast. Are all 9 of them sword cultivators? 9 Imperial Kai Realm sword cultivators. Even a Skysore Realm expert would probably die." Kang Zhang was shocked again. He knew the wooden figures were not simple, but he had not expected them to be comparable to sword cultivators. After all, the 9 Palaces platform had not been activated in a very long time. Then he slowly smiled. Although the wooden figures were only in the Imperial Kai realm, the terror of sword cultivators could not be measured by realm alone. 9 powerful Imperial Kai realm sword cultivators, combined with the formation, could dominate the entire Skysore realm, let alone the Imperial Kai realms. Looking across all of Jiang Kingdom, perhaps only someone like National Scholar and could attempt it. Ye Xuan, Kang Zhang sneered. Ye Xuan, you wanted fame, you wanted your name to resound. But you do not know your own limits. On the 9 Palaces platform, Ye Xuan's first impression of the wooden figure's sword was simple. Fast, accurate, deadly. But what surprised him was the power behind it, too weak. He did not know why he felt this way. He only felt that the strike was weak. Under the eyes of everyone below, Ye Xuan did not dodge as the wooden sword pierced into his chest. Everyone froze. Before their shocked gazes, the wooden sword in the figure's hand suddenly trembled violently. Then it turned into a faint ray of light and entered Ye Xuan's body. At the same time, the Lanxiu sword inside him also trembled, as if something within it was changing. The remaining 8 wooden figures had already swung their swords toward Ye Xuan. He stood still. When the 8 wooden swords touched him, they all vanished without a trace. Even Ye Xuan himself was stunned. "Senior, what happened? Did you act?" After a moment of silence, the mysterious woman's voice sounded. "You are cultivating the invincible sword body art. You can devour swords weaker than the spirit sword inside your body. Understand?" Ye Xuan was about to speak when Kang Zhang's furious roar came from nearby. "Cheating." Ye Xuan's eyes snapped toward him. "Slander."